You ever notice how quick people are to let someone else control their day? One wrong word, one sideways look, and suddenly, boom, their peace is gone. Let me tell you something, when you let people decide how you feel, you hand them the keys to your happiness. And I don't know about you, but I'm not giving those keys away to anybody. Most people live their lives believing anger is something that just happens to them. They say things like, he made me mad, or she got on my nerves. But think about what those words really mean. When you say, he made me mad, you are declaring that someone else has power over your emotions, your mindset, your peace. You're giving another human being who may not even care about you that kind of control. And once you hand over that power, you become a prisoner to other people's actions. But here's the truth that will set you free. Anger is not forced on you. Anger is chosen by you. Let me break it down with something simple. Imagine you're driving to work, already running a little late. Suddenly, somebody cuts you off in traffic. Your blood pressure spikes, your hand slams the horn, and for the next 10 minutes, your whole body is tense. You arrive at work angry, distracted, and drained, all because of something that lasted less than 5 seconds. That moment only had power because you gave it power. Now imagine the same scenario, but this time, instead of reacting with anger, you shake your head, turn up your favorite song, and keep moving. Same event, totally different outcome. Why? Because this time you chose to protect your peace instead of handing it over. The reality is every trigger in your life comes with two options: react or respond. Reacting is automatic, it's explosive, it's fueled by impulse. Responding, on the other hand, is deliberate, thoughtful, and grounded in control. When you understand that you always have a choice, you stop being a slave to circumstances. Think about children for a moment. If a little boy knocks over another child's toy, the second child might cry, scream, maybe even swing a fist. That's a reaction. It feels natural, but it's really just untrained. Now take that same scenario with an adult. If someone bumps into you at the grocery store, you don't break down in tears or start throwing punches. Why? Because as you grew, you learned how to regulate your responses. You learned that you have choices. Anger is no different. It feels natural, but it doesn't have to be inevitable. There's even science to back this up. Psychologists talk about something called the ABC model. A stands for the activating event, what happens to you. B stands for your belief about that event. C stands for the consequence, your emotional response. Most people think A leads directly to C. Somebody insults me, so I feel angry. But the truth is, it's not A to C, it's A to B to C. It's not the event itself that makes you angry, it's what you believe about the event. If someone calls you a name and you believe their words have value, you'll get mad. But if you believe their words have no power over your worth, their insult bounces off like rain on a windshield. It never sticks because you made a different choice about what it means. I'll never forget a story I once heard about two employees in the same office. Their boss walked in frustrated and snapped at both of them for a mistake neither one made. The first employee spent the rest of the day fuming, telling anyone who would listen how unfair the boss was, how disrespectful, how rude. His productivity dropped, his energy drained, and by the end of the day, he was ready to quit. The second employee, though, shrugged it off. He thought that wasn't about me, that was about his mood, and went back to work. By the end of the day, his peace was intact, his work was done, and he walked out with a smile. Same event, two different choices, two completely different outcomes. That's the power of realizing anger is optional. Here's what makes this so important. Every time you choose not to get angry, you take back control of your life. You stop living like a puppet, yanked around by every rude comment, every careless action, every traffic jam. You become the master of your emotions instead of the victim of them. And when you carry yourself like that, people notice, they respect the calm, they admire the strength, they start to wonder, how does this person stay so composed when life tries to push them over the edge? So the next time you feel anger rising up, pause and remind yourself, this is my choice. No one can make me angry without my permission. And the moment you understand that truth, not just with your head, but with your heart, you unlock a kind of freedom that most people never experience in their lifetime. One of the greatest sources of anger and frustration in life is the habit of taking everything personally. The truth is, most of what people say and do has little to do with you and everything to do with them. Their pain, their perspective, their struggles, their baggage. Yet so many of us carry the weight of other people's words as if they were carved into stone and handed down from heaven. We replay that rude comment in our minds over and over. We analyze that look someone gave us across the room. We allow the opinions of others to dictate how we feel about ourselves. But the reality is, when you take things personally, you are living in a prison that someone else controls. Think about this. If a stranger walked up to you on the street and told you, the sky is green, you'd probably laugh and keep walking. Why? Because you know the sky is blue. Their words don't bother you because you don't believe them. But if that same stranger looked at you and said something about your weight, your job, your appearance, or something you already feel insecure about, suddenly It stings, not because their opinion has more truth, but because you gave it more power. You personalized it, and that's where the trap lies. Anger doesn't come from what people say, it comes from what we decide their words mean to us. Here's the key: when someone lashes out at you, it's rarely about you. It's a reflection of what's happening inside of them. Hurt people. Insecure people criticize others. Angry people look for someone to unload on. And if you take their fire and let it burn you, then you've let their storm enter your world. But if you recognize that their behavior is about them, not you, suddenly their words lose their grip. You can look at them and think, that's your battle, not mine. I don't have to fight it. Let me give you a real example. A young woman once shared how her manager at work constantly belittled her in front of others. For months, she went home in tears, convinced she wasn't good enough, that maybe she wasn't cut out for the job. But then she learned her manager was dealing with immense personal issues. Her marriage was falling apart, her finances were collapsing, and she was drowning in stress. The young woman realized the attacks weren't about her performance, they were about the manager's pain. From that day on, she stopped taking the insults personally. She still heard them, but they no longer cut her the same way. Instead of anger and tears, she found calm and confidence because she knew the problem wasn't hers to carry. When you stop taking things personally, you create a shield around your peace. It doesn't mean people won't still be rude or disrespectful. It means their words can't penetrate your spirit. Imagine walking through the rain with an umbrella. The drops are still falling, but they're not soaking you anymore. That's what happens when you refuse to personalize other people's negativity. You keep yourself dry in the middle of their storm. There's even wisdom in ancient philosophy that echoes this truth. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He also taught that when someone insults you, they are merely expressing an opinion based on their limited perspective, not some universal truth about your worth. If you don't swallow their poison, it can't harm you. Let's make this personal. Think of the last time someone said something that hurt you. Maybe a coworker dismissed your idea. Maybe a family member criticized your decisions. Maybe a stranger posted a nasty comment online. You felt anger rise, maybe sadness too. But step back and ask, was it really about you, or was it about them? Were they projecting their own frustration? Were they speaking from their own insecurities? When you can answer those questions honestly, you'll realize most of the weight you've been carrying doesn't belong to you at all. And here's the freedom in this: once you stop taking things personally, you become unshakable. You stop letting every careless word dictate your mood. You stop allowing the opinions of others to control your identity. You build a wall of strength inside yourself that no insult can tear down. And people notice that. They see you unmoved, calm, steady, and they begin to wonder, what's different about this person? Why can't I get under their skin? The answer is simple: because you know who you are, and you refuse to let anyone else tell your story. So the next time someone throws negativity your way, pause before you catch it. Remind yourself, this is not about me, this is about them. And when you do that, you'll find the anger that once used to burn in your chest has no fire left. The most dangerous moment in life is not the explosion of anger itself, it's the split second before it happens. That gap, that tiny space between what happens to you and how you respond to it, is where the battle for your peace is won or lost. Most people don't even realize they have that space. They feel provoked and they explode. Someone says something sharp and the comeback flies out of their mouth before they even think. They feel offended, and before they know it, their voice is raised, their blood is boiling, and the situation has spiraled out of control. But those who learn to pause in that moment, those who can hold themselves still just long enough to breathe, to think, to weigh their response, they're the ones who master themselves instead of being mastered by anger. That pause may only last a few seconds, but those seconds are some of the most powerful in your entire life. Think about it: how many arguments, how many broken relationships, how many regrets could have been avoided if someone had just taken a breath before speaking? How many fights could have been diffused if someone had just waited a moment before acting on impulse? The pause is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is strength disguised as stillness. And when you choose to pause, you are proving that you are not a slave to your emotions. You are the driver, not the passenger. Let me give you a real-world example. I once heard a story about a man who worked in customer service, one of the toughest jobs you can have, because you're dealing with frustrated people all day. A customer stormed in one afternoon, red in the face, yelling about a mistake on her bill. Every word out of her mouth was filled with anger. Now, this man could have easily snapped back. He could have matched her tone, defended himself, or blamed someone else. Instead, he paused. He let her vent, he breathed, he listened. When she was done, he calmly said, "I understand you're upset. Let's work together to fix this." Her shoulders dropped, her voice softened, and the whole storm was over. What changed? Not the customer. She was still angry. What changed was his choice to pause, to control his reaction instead of letting the moment control him. That pause turned conflict into resolution. Science confirms this too. Psychologists talk about something called the amygdala hijack. The amygdala is the part of your brain that reacts to threats. When you feel provoked, your amygdala floods your body with adrenaline and prepares you to fight. That's why you feel your heart race, your fists clench, your words sharpen. But here's the secret: if you give your brain just a few seconds, the rational part of your mind, the prefrontal cortex, kicks in. That's the part that says, wait a minute, is this worth it? What's the smartest way to handle this? The pause is what gives your brain enough time to step out of impulse and step into wisdom. Think about professional athletes. The best of the best are not just physically skilled, they're mentally disciplined. When the pressure is high, when the crowd is screaming, when the game is on the line, they don't panic. They slow down, they breathe, they make the right move at the right time because they've trained themselves to pause under pressure. If they can do that in front of thousands of fans and millions watching on TV, surely you and I can do it in our everyday lives when someone cuts us off in traffic or speaks to us with disrespect. Here's a practice you can try the next time you feel that fire rising. Count to 5 in your head before you respond. It sounds simple, but those 5 seconds can be the difference between escalation and resolution, between regret and respect. Another method: take one deep breath and exhale slowly. That single breath sends a signal to your body that you're not in danger, that you're in control, and it calms the storm before it overtakes you. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a father who comes home after a long day of work. He's tired, hungry, and stressed. His child accidentally spills juice on the floor. In that instant, anger flares up inside of him. He feels the urge to yell, to scold, to release his frustration on the child. But then he pauses. He looks at the child's frightened face, he takes a breath, and instead of shouting, he grabs a towel and says, "It's okay, let's clean it up together." That pause not only saves the child from unnecessary pain, it strengthens the bond between father and child. Years from now, that child won't remember spilled juice, but they will remember the calm, loving presence of a parent who chose patience over anger. The pause may feel small, but it is the difference between being reactive and being intentional. And the people who learn to pause are the ones who rise above chaos. They are the ones others trust, the ones others respect, the ones who carry peace in a world addicted to noise. The pause doesn't make you weaker, it makes you unshakable. One of the fastest ways to lose your peace is to waste energy trying to control things that were never meant to be in your hands. You can't control how people treat you. You can't control what they say about you. You can't control the weather, the economy, the traffic, or even your family members' decisions. But you can always control your attitude, your actions, and your response. The people who walk through life frustrated, bitter, and angry are often the ones trying to micromanage the entire world. They want everyone to act a certain way, speak a certain way, and treat them a certain way. And when the world doesn't cooperate, and it never does, they live in constant disappointment. The secret to peace is realizing that your circle of control is smaller than you think, and that's not a weakness, it's a strength, because it allows you to focus all your energy where it matters most, on yourself. Think of it like this: life is a stage, and every day you're performing your part. You can't control the other actors, you can't rewrite their lines, and you can't decide how they'll play their role. But you can control your own script. You can deliver your lines with excellence. You can give your best performance, and you can walk off that stage with your head held high, knowing you stayed true to yourself. The moment you stop trying to rewrite everyone else's part, you free yourself from unnecessary anger. Let me give you an everyday example. Picture yourself stuck in rush hour traffic. Cars are honking, people are cutting in, and you can feel your frustration climbing. Now you can sit there pounding the steering wheel, yelling at drivers who can't even hear you, or you can accept what you cannot change and control what you can. You can put on a podcast, listen to your favorite playlist, use that time to think, pray, or plan. The traffic doesn't change, but your peace does, because you shifted your focus from what's outside your control to what's inside. Professional athletes understand this better than most. When a basketball player steps onto the court, they can't control the crowd booing, the referee's call, or the trash talk from their opponent. If they let those things dominate their mind, they'll crumble under pressure. The great ones, though, stay focused on what they can control: their effort, their focus, their execution. That's why Michael Jordan once said he never worried about missing a shot he hadn't taken yet. He knew the only thing he could control was the shot he took in the moment, not the outcome or the opinions of others. That mindset is why some players rise to greatness while others collapse under the weight of distraction. The same principle applies in relationships. So many arguments, so many broken families come from people trying to control one another. A husband wants his wife to react exactly how he imagines. A parent wants their child to make every choice they would make. A friend wants constant agreement and validation. But the truth is, people are not robots you can program. They have their own will, their own path, their own struggles. If you spend your life trying to control others, you'll never stop being angry. But if you release the need to control and instead focus on how you treat them, how you respond to them, and how you carry yourself, suddenly the weight lifts. You stop living in constant conflict and you begin to experience real freedom. Even psychology confirms this. There's a concept called the circle of influence. It's the idea that your peace depends on where you place your energy, on things you can influence, like your choices, or things outside your control, like someone else's behavior. People who pour energy into uncontrollable things are more stressed, more anxious, and more prone to anger. But those who focus on their circle of influence, on their discipline, their mindset, their reactions, are happier, healthier, and far more resilient. I'll share a story to bring this home. A man once told me he used to spend hours every night arguing online with strangers about politics. He'd get so angry, typing back and forth, trying to prove his point, trying to change someone else's mind. One day, his wife looked at him and said, "Why are you giving your peace away to people you don't even know? Why are you losing sleep over what you can't control?" That hit him. He realized he was draining his energy fighting battles that weren't his to win. From then on, he stopped engaging in endless debates and instead used that time to read, exercise, and build his business. The argument stopped, the anger disappeared, and his life improved because he shifted focus from what he couldn't control to what he could. This is the lesson: life will throw you storms, people will test your patience, and circumstances will try to shake your calm. But when you focus on what's within your control, you'll always have solid ground to stand on. The world can rage, people can disappoint, but your peace will remain because it's anchored in the one thing no one else can touch: your choices. There are few things in life heavier than holding on to anger. When someone wrongs you, when they betray you, insult you, or disrespect you, it's natural to feel hurt. But here's where the real danger lies: holding on to that hurt, feeding it, replaying it in your mind over and over until it becomes bitterness. That bitterness doesn't just stay in one corner of your heart. It spreads like poison. It changes the way you think, the way you treat others, even the way you see yourself. People walk around every day chained by grudges, dragging the weight of the past behind them, and they don't even realize the toll it's taking on their peace, their joy, and even their health. Science has shown that people who hold on to anger and resentment are more likely to suffer from high blood pressure, stress-related illness, depression, and even weakened immune systems. That's how destructive it is. Anger doesn't just hurt your spirit, it hurts your body. But forgiveness, real forgiveness, isn't about excusing what someone did to you. It's not about saying it was okay, or that you should forget it, or that you should put yourself back in harm's way. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the prison of anger. It's about saying, "I will not allow what you did to control me any longer." When you hold a grudge, you're not punishing the other person, you're punishing yourself. They go on living their life, often unaffected, while you carry the weight. Forgiveness is you setting down the stone you were never meant to carry. Let me share a story that illustrates this power. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years locked in prison for standing against injustice. When he was finally released, the world expected him to be bitter, to be angry, to demand vengeance for the decades stolen from him. But instead, he said something that shook the world. As I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Think about that. After 27 years of unjust suffering, he understood what many of us never realize after a single insult. Anger keeps you locked up even after the chains are gone. Forgiveness was his way to walk into freedom. Maybe you've been betrayed by a friend you trusted. Maybe someone in your family wounded you deeply with their words. Maybe you've been lied about, cheated on, or mistreated. The pain is real, but you have to ask yourself, how long will I carry this? How long will I let what they did to me define my peace today? Every day you choose not to forgive, you're drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It doesn't work that way. Forgiveness is not about setting them free, it's about setting yourself free. I remember hearing about a man who lost his son to violence. At first, his heart was filled with rage against the one who took his child's life. But over time, he realized that anger was destroying him from the inside out. It consumed his thoughts, stole his sleep, and robbed him of joy. Eventually, he made the choice to forgive, not because the man who hurt his son deserved it, but because he deserved peace. Forgiveness didn't erase the pain, but it released the anger. It gave him the ability to breathe again, to live again, to smile again. And here's something important: forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. You don't have to stay in toxic relationships. You don't have to let people keep hurting you. Forgiveness doesn't mean allowing continued abuse. It means you cut the tie of anger so it no longer controls you. You can forgive someone and still set healthy boundaries. You can let go of the bitterness while still protecting your heart and your future. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is not someone else, but yourself. Many people live tormented by their own past mistakes, replaying regrets, stuck in cycles of guilt and shame. But holding on to anger at yourself is just as destructive as holding on to anger at others. You can't change what's already been done, All you can do is learn, grow, and release yourself from yesterday so you can live fully today. Self-forgiveness is not about denying responsibility. It's about refusing to let your past keep stealing your present. So many people walk around carrying anger like it's their identity. They say, "I'll never forgive him," or "I'll never forget what she did." And yet they don't realize the only life they're damaging is their own. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's choosing peace over poison, freedom over bondage, healing over hurt. And when you forgive quickly, when you learn to let go instead of letting anger settle, you become lighter, freer, and stronger than ever before. When life presses against you, when people insult you, when circumstances try to shake you, the only thing that keeps you unmovable is the strength you carry on the inside. Inner strength is like an anchor. It holds you steady in the middle of the storm. Without it, you drift wherever the wind of other people's opinions or actions blows you. But with it, you can stand tall, calm, and unshaken, no matter how loud the storm rages around you. And the two most powerful ways to build this inner strength are gratitude and purpose. Let's start with gratitude. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. Gratitude is a mindset, a perspective, a lens through which you view your life. When you live with gratitude, you train your heart and your mind to focus on what is good, what is working, what is beautiful, even in the middle of challenges. And when your heart is full of gratitude, anger and bitterness lose their grip, because those two emotions cannot coexist in the same space. You cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. Try it. Think of something you're truly thankful for, a blessing in your life that warms your heart, and you'll notice how the tension inside begins to fade. Gratitude is a shield because it shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what you lack to what you already have, from what hurt you to what's healing you. Science even backs this up. Studies from leading universities have shown that people who practice gratitude daily, whether by journaling, praying, or simply reflecting, report lower levels of stress and anger, better sleep, and stronger relationships. Gratitude literally rewires your brain to look for the positive, which means it becomes harder for negativity to dominate your mind. That's why the simple act of writing down 3 things you're thankful for every morning can transform the way you carry yourself the rest of the day. You begin to walk with lightness, with peace, because your heart is already full. Now let's talk about purpose. Purpose is knowing who you are and why you're here. It's having a clear sense of direction, a mission that drives you forward. Without purpose, every insult feels heavier, every obstacle feels overwhelming, every negative word feels like it has the power to break you. But when you live with purpose, those same insults bounce off you like stones hitting a mountain. Why? Because you're too focused on where you're going to be distracted by the noise around you. Think of an Olympic runner. As they sprint toward the finish line, the crowd might cheer or boo, the commentators might praise or criticize, but none of that matters. Their eyes are locked on the finish line. They don't stop to argue with a heckler in the stands. They don't turn around to prove themselves to a critic. Their purpose is too great to be disturbed. The same principle applies to you. When your life is guided by purpose, you don't have time to let anger pull you off course. I once heard the story of a young man who grew up in poverty, surrounded by negativity. People told him he'd never make it, never amount to anything. He could have let those words fill him with anger, and many in his neighborhood did exactly that. They fought back, lashed out, and ended up trapped in cycles of bitterness. But he chose differently. He found his purpose in education, in building a better future for his family. Every time someone mocked him or doubted him, instead of getting angry, he reminded himself of his mission. That purpose became his armor. Today, he's successful, not because life was easy, but because his purpose was stronger than his anger. Here's the truth: when you know who you are and where you're going, people can't shake you. Their words lose their power. Their negativity becomes background noise. Gratitude fills your heart so bitterness can't grow, and purpose directs your steps so distractions can't derail you. Together, gratitude and purpose create an unshakable foundation of inner strength. So when life tries to push you, when people try to provoke you, remember this: you don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to respond to every insult. If you're rooted in gratitude and guided by purpose, you'll carry a strength so deep that nothing on the outside can take away the peace on the inside. So here's the truth: anger is easy. Anybody can snap, anybody can lash out. But strength, real strength, is staying calm when the world tries to shake you. Never forget, no one can steal your peace unless you hand it over. Don't give them that power. Keep your keys. Keep your joy. Keep your focus. Because at the end of the day, the strongest person in the room is the one who cannot be moved.